Morning YouTube. Now in this video today I want to answer a question I received the other day and also talk about something that I thought about and answer my own question. And the question is that have I suffered anything or lost anything since losing them customers or parting ways with them customers? Should I say a loss is a loss, you know. One less customer is X amount out of the books every month, so to speak. And as I said, it was my choice to part ways with him. And if you remember back loads of videos ago, two camps of people. One set I physically can't do because of the hernias, and then another set of people which were just plain utter nightmares. So yes, I have lost money, but it's at what price and at what benefit. So overall I've noticed my takings are down a little bit. They aren't down to what they were last year, but for what I predicted to earn. Now I don't base my, I take a rough stab at what I think I'm going to earn. So as in, at the start of the month with all the work booked in, I've never ever done this while I've been in business. I've never looked and added up, and you know, because most of my work's set amounts, it's priced work. I've never looked and added it up and thought, right, I'm going to be earning this much. I've never done it because cancellations, and if you lose, you know, never done it. So at the start of the year, when I think about what I'm going to earn, it's based upon what I earned last year. And I'll be honest with you, I think I put like 10% onto it because I want to be earning more every year to keep in line with all, you know, inflation, all that jazz. So I earned more than what I earned last year, but it's not as much as I thought. It's a little bit, you know. So is this a bad thing? Should I be worried? Yes and no, because it's still a decrease, but at the same time I'll get to the positives in a bit. So it's a decrease, can't deny that. Is it much? No. Like, is it something that I should really worry about? No. But then part of me thinks, oh, you know, and I think this is because we're the victims of our own success. So I know that if I bust the hours and work 7 days, stupid hours, I can earn really good money. There's no two ways about it, as in, like, ridiculous. But this isn't sustainable. This isn't helping me. If I do that, I'm just going to run myself into the ground. So it's finding this balance. So, positives. What customers I have lost has benefited me no end. Touch wood, I haven't had any flare-ups with the hernias. There's been no pain, no discomfort. So if you're wondering what I'm on about, I've got 2 hernias, and in the past, every so often, I would have to have time off work because I'm just in pain. I just have to lie down and ride it out. So that's a benefit. I haven't had, touch wood, metaphorically, paper, I haven't had any of that. So I think that's because I've not been taking on heavy mauling tasks, loads of bending down. So I'll get onto this in a bit, the bending down bit, because it was quite interesting. So that's been one sort of benefit / big benefit for me, at least. Number 2, the mental health side. Now I hate saying it because people could think I suffer from it. I don't believe I do. There's nothing wrong if you do, I'm not saying that, but I don't want to say mental health and play on it like I've got it and it could take away from somebody else. I haven't, as far as I know. So mental health side, I feel a lot better. There used to be some jobs with some customers that were an out and out ball ache. They were hard to please, bloody funny, pickety, niggety people, bloody tight-fisted, and every job you did, it was a fight to get your money, utter ball ache. So for me, I feel good. I don't have to go to people like that anymore. And you know the sort where you'd look at your diary and you'd have all good customers, and then you'd look at the, you know, next week and you go, oh, I've got to go to Mr. Such and Such or Mr. Bastard, or I've got Mrs. Bastard today, you know, and it just puts a downer on your day because you're there and you're thinking, I wonder what they're going to moan about today. Is this going to be right? Is this going to be wrong? Or what's she going to moan about her neighbours? Or is she going to pay me? You know, am I going to have this conversation where, look, you've not paid me for the last visit, I need payment. I have paid, you know, I'm fed up of it. So, gone. So I feel better, I'll be honest with you. So, has it been worth, you know, is it a bad thing? As I said, I think I'll always hyper focus on little details like the, you know, the takings are just a little bit lower. But overall, I think it's a fair trade-off. So my takeaway little bit of advice for you guys is, if you're in this position and you're thinking about doing it and you've got customers, so for me, the customer I lost, it's not a shit ton. It's, you know, it's for others, you'd probably think, well, what are you even worried about? But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad that I do not have to look at, you know, my diary and not dread, but I have that sort, you know, that feeling like, oh God, I've got to go to here, and, you know, and it's just a bloody ball ache sometimes with people. So, like I said, we shouldn't have to do this. At the end of the day, we're self-employed, you know, we're not tied to people, but sometimes you feel like you do. So my advice to you, if you're thinking like that, just get rid. So I sorted out the lady. I think I've still had people from the first part saying, go and get your money. I went and got the money off that lady. It's all sorted. There's been no repercussions, nothing like that. It does always make me laugh though, and I can never understand it with some people. It must just be their personality. But have you ever had it where you've parted ways with customers, whether it's good, bad, they've got rid of you? It happens. I'm not gonna, you know, people have got rid of me, I've got rid of them, you know, different people obviously, it's not like back and forth. But have you ever noticed when you see them in the street, you get the cold shoulder or they snub you? I had it with a lady, and I used to do some work for her, and she was all right, but she was a tight, miserly customer, niggity tight, all that. And she rung up, and she was on my list to basically go because of that. Basically, I'm speaking to a gardener today. You always have more than you think, but I'm on about hourly people here. But she was one of my hourly people, and this is the reason for getting rid. She used to pay me to do 2 hours of work last year. This year she had me where she was saying, oh, just do an hour. Fair enough. So during the first visits there wasn't too much to do, but as it got growing the garden, there was no grass, it was just maintenance. As the bushes started growing and it actually got where you needed 2 hours, she still only wanted 1 hour doing. And I thought, I know your game, you want me to do the 2 hours of work in 1 hour, and it's not going to happen. So I said to her that, well, it needs 2 hours. Oh no, one will be fine. So I did basically half as much, did 1 hour's work. And that went on for a bit, and I could tell it was pissing her off. I could tell, because I could see that there's still stuff to be done, but I'm fucked if I'm running around like a blue horse fire or staying over. I'm sorry. So in the end, I could tell she was getting wound up after the visit. But what can you do other than do what she wants and do the extra work, you know, off your own back? And I'm not doing that. It's people do things like this to take advantage of you. If she said, Luke, I'm really, really tight up for money, we could maybe, but then it's still, you know, it's not our problem. I'm sorry, we aren't a charity. So in the end, she ended up ringing me up, and she was a bit funny about it. She says, oh, well, I'm just ringing to let you know that, well, I don't need you anymore. I'm going to get my brother to do it instead. Yeah, that's no problem. Thank you for letting me know. Oh, okay. I don't know what she wanted me to say, really. And so that was it. And I saw her, bearing in mind I'd been doing 2 years of work for her. I saw her in the supermarket about a month later, and she walking down the aisle, so you know, our eyes met. I went to say hi and she turned the other way. I thought, you just can't work it out with some people, can you? Like, for me, there's no malice in anything. I just thought, and it says it all, doesn't it? So that's one. But as I said, she dropped me first, but it is what it is. And then the only other problem I've had with dropping people, and this just really winds me up, it's just people, and it's just some people. There was one lady, I did feel sorry for him. It was an elderly couple, and it was one of them property. They were nice, they were lovely people, but it was a property that for them, they had one tree and they had about 4 shrubs, but it was just weed in the patio. She didn't want weed killer putting down because they had a cat, and the neighbours had a cat or something, so it was just pulling weeds. And it was one of them where it was like the block where you could pull them out, but it was all hands and knees weeding. And it was, I'll be honest with you as well, it was bloody boring. It was a really, really, really boring property. But the people were lovely, and she made me fucking pies, you know, and I'm turning away a pie here and a piece of cake. But it was work that I couldn't do because of this, and also it was just damn boring work, and I had to let him go because of this. I didn't say, look, you're boring, like your garden's boring, but it is what it is. And I gave him as much notice as I could. I even gave him another number for another gardener that I knew. You know, there's nothing more that I could do. And she was fine with it, to be fair. She understood. I told her exactly why, that I've got hernias, and that it's the bending down, it's the hands and knees work that's doing it. And it is. And since stopping it, it's you know, I've not had a problem with it. So it was fine, all sorted. And then I remember I was doing a job, and I did cut rough with this bloke because it pissed me off. I wasn't abusive or rude to him, but I basically told him to mind his own business. I saw this bloke and he looked very familiar, and I was doing a commercial job and I was raking up some leaves and stuff, and he come walking up, and for one, he walked onto the commercial property, so it's like he walked on someone's driveway, but all the way down. He says, "Oi, thought you were Pooley." Sorry, who are you? And it looked familiar, but I couldn't. He says, "Oh, you let down what, my neighbour?" I said, "Sorry, who are you? Who's your neighbour?" So he told me. I says, "Well," I says, "I didn't let anybody down, first off." I says, "But what happens with my customers is between my customers." "Yeah, well, I thought you were ill. Thought you couldn't do any work." I says, "No." I says, "I'm sorry, but what has it got to do with you?" "Oh, well, the neighbour had told me that you've been laid off. Hernias." I says, "Yes." I says, "I've got 2 hernias." "Well, I thought you'd be off." I says, "Well," I said, "I wish I had that luxury." I says, "But how it is, I'm self-employed and I've got to work." I said, "I've got to do the work that I can, and the work that I can't do, unfortunately. The work that I can't do, I let her know." "Oh, well, I'm just wondering why you're raking." And at this point in time, I said, "Look," I said, "I don't mean to sound rude, but my personal health, my working life is absolutely bugger all to do with you." I says, "I don't mean to cut rough with you, but can you let me get on with my day, please?" And he went off like, you know, storming. I could see his missus saying like, what you be saying that on in full face. And it really wound me up. And you get this, I can't understand. People should just mind their own business. So, thought nothing of it. Nothing's bad's come of it. But, well, as far as I know. And I saw the bloke who, I see him, and he passes me a bit of work every so often. He'd recommended me to this couple, actually. And he come up to me, and he's not nosy, he's not a shit stirrer, nothing like that. He's just a decent bloke. And he said to me that he says, oh, says Mr. and Mrs. such and such said you'd been laid off with hernias, but are you alright, are you? I says, yeah. I says, look, I'm fine. He says, he says, I saw a neighbour and he was saying about him as well. I says, well, I said, I did have to have words with him about it. He says, yeah, he's a nosy bugger, but you're alright, are you? Because he'd heard off them, but he'd not seen me. I says, look, I says, yeah, I'm fine. I said, I can do what I can do, and I can't do what I can't do, and unfortunately what I can't do, I've let people know. And he says, he says, Luke, he says, health before wealth and all that. He says, look after yourself. So that's it. That's the only bad things I've had, or bad, and it's not really. It's up to people at the end of the day. People can think what they want. People can take rejection, and I will stand by this. People don't like being told no. No matter how you dress it up or dress it down, people don't like being told no. You can do something for free, not charge them, let them know well in advance. They don't like being told no. But at the end of the day, if you can hold your head up high and say, look, I've tried my best, that's all you can do. It's all I can do. So, as I said, look after yourself. If you've got customers you don't like working for, you don't have to work for them. Just let them go. It's not worth it. For me, the positive changes that I've noticed, as in I've not been laid off poorly, because before I was having 2 days off on my back because I couldn't do anything, or I was having to nip home to lie down until the pain went away, and it's just not conducive for working as a self-employed gardener, unfortunately. So have a good day, guys. A bit of a long one today. There's one more thing that I want to talk about before you go, and I hope people are still around. I've started my diet again. I feel this time that I'm more into it, and I don't want to turn this into a weight loss thing at all, because it's actually it's actually my YouTube channel, so I can really do what I want. But I thought I'd ask just to gauge sort of things. Thinking of putting a video up every so often talking about it. It's not so much so I can get a pat on the back. I'm not really into that. It's not even so much as it's, for one, it's to keep me on track. Two, hopefully people might see, because weight, I think people carry more. I think now more than ever you see more people carrying a bit of extra weight, so maybe it will help somebody else do it. And at the same time, I think sometimes, like, I watch YouTube channels and you get attached to the person, so maybe you want to see what goes on in their life. So if you want to see more of that, just let me know, because again, it's not going to be flooded. It'll be probably an update. So far I've dropped 12.5 pounds. We've been there, done this before with diets, and lost the weight, put the weight on. It's something I think I struggle with my whole life, but I think it would be nice to talk about it. So as usual, guys, have a good day, keep on gardening, all that good stuff. I have a son.